So, hello everyone. It has been a while since I have done any, astrological videos, the cosmic currencies, right? But this Venus retrograde is a big one, and I absolutely couldn't miss it. The minute that Venus goes retrograde, it is at 28 degrees Leo, conjunct Lilith. It's being quincunxed by Pluto and Neptune, both retrograding in Capricorn and Pisces, who are doing this yachty-like thing with Venus and Lilith. And there's a cross going on. The nodes are being T-squared by the Sun and Pluto opposition, both at 29 degrees, Cancer and Capricorn. So this is huge energy because all of those things are being aspected on by Venus and Lilith. All right. Venus Lilith is sextiling and trining the nodes. It is also semi-sextiling the sun. So, in lieu of all the challenges that these planets are creating with each other, there's a lot of benefit moving towards Lilith Venus, okay? They're not actually being challenged by any of the cardinal energy going on, but they are benefiting from it. Trines, sextiles, semi-sextiles are all positive. Quincunxes are wild cards that can be radically good or radically not so good, but because it's in a yod, yods are sometimes called the finger of God, which is the direction that the universe points you in. So when we're talking about Venus retrograde, obviously there's a lot that comes up. Thinking about, in Leo, right, thinking about how much we've given to people, right, depending on what house of your own chart Leo rules, but it's reflective on how much love we've given and who we've given it to. And love can come in many forms, right? There's a lot of different love languages out there. And we're considering what our love languages are and how much we've given to certain people. And if we got a return worthy of the gratitude as, reciprocity for what we've invested, for all that we've given, was it a good investment, right? This Pluto and Capricorn energy. Was all the caring that I've done, all the love that I've given, the way I've nurtured people, has it been a good investment? And where you land on that conversation is going to decide which node you fall into. Are you falling into the North Node in Aries or the South Node in Libra? Because anything that is not balanced with a South Node in Libra, let me make something clear. The South Node is a magic eraser, okay? It sucks up all the shit that is misaligned and spits it out. It's gone. It's like a freaking vacuum. It erases everything in misalignment. So if you've got relationships, right, which is what Libra rules, in misalignment, that's going to change. If, let's say, for example, you have Libra in the 4th house, right, of home, and you're renting, chances are, if your landlord is misaligned and they're not a great landlord, you're going to move, right? If you have Venus in Libra, right, we'll go there. If you have Venus in Libra, or Libra's in your 7th house, if you have a partnership that is out of alignment, you most likely end up leaving your partner. Right, there's different things that South Node will do when it hits certain houses and certain placements in your chart. It will clean up South Node cleans up. The North Node in Aries is important to understand because the only way that you really come out on top, and I mean really come out on top, is by being 100% real with yourself. By doing what feels good for you despite everyone else. Because when you're good with you, you're good for everybody. If you're not good for you, you're good for no one. Right? Which is essentially what this boils down to. So if we're weighing our investments, how we've been generous to other people, especially if we've doubled down and tripled down and quadrupled down on investments, hoping that others would change. And maybe we've got a pride issue admitting that maybe we were wrong. Right? When we see that beautiful potential in people and people don't come through in the becoming of that beautiful potential, we will keep investing, hoping that they do because we don't want to be wrong. It makes us look foolish. Right? Leo, the lion, does not appreciate feeling foolish, let alone taken for granted or advantage of, because obviously they were investing for a reason. Right? The investments were being made for a reason. There was a certain potential vision trying to be reached that wasn't reached, right? So they've invested in something for a return that it wasn't the return they wanted, right? Those kind of things are going to be coming up. Now, if you're in alignment, your partner's in alignment, the people of your life are in alignment, this Venus retrograde is going to give you an opportunity to really close old doors with situations, lifestyles, people that tried to take you out of your highest energy before, especially with what house Leo rules for you. Right? So if you have something, let's just say Leo in the second house, right? The house of possessions. And you're reflecting back on, different literal financial investments that you made, being generous with people that never came back. All of that may start coming back in now. Right? All of that investment, the universe, God, source, creator, whatever you want to call it, but the universe is going to start giving you the return on your finances. Where you invested and things were out of balance, the universe will correct it if you are in alignment with your North Node. Okay? Because Venus retrograding in Leo, trining on that energy, that's beneficial. So if you're in alignment with your North Node, Venus is going to dial back and start bringing you in all of the financial aspect that you put out for others, right? So it's highly beneficial if you're in alignment. If you're sitting there and you're like, oh, maybe I'll just double down and it doesn't really matter if I'm happy or not, and I'm just going to keep investing in this relationship that's out of balance, or this work environment that's out of balance, or I guess I'll just give up and keep renting wherever I'm renting, like whatever your example is, family, it doesn't matter. The house in which Libra rules for you. If you're not in alignment, Spirit's going to do you a huge favor and clean it out for you. The problem is, if Spirit has to do that, the universe has to do that, and you don't choose it for yourself, whatever energetic resource Spirit would have used to bless you is going to be delegated towards clearing things out for you instead. Blessing in disguise. Right? So you can choose of your own free will to align with obligation or settling for what is and being pessimistic and being afraid of change, or, doubling down in whatever because of ego and pride. Like, you can do that. Spirit's just going to waste its resource teaching you the hard way, right? But if you could choose it for yourself, there's a lot of great benefit to that because you're saving Spirit time and energy. And so it can just simply move you forward in the right direction, right? Your highest direction. So it's a really big deal to pay attention to how you feel with that sun in Cancer at 29 degrees. It's a real big deal to pay attention to how you feel and to choose accordingly, and probably not choose the same things you've chosen in the past, right? That weren't feel good, beneficial in the long run. Right, like if you've got a history of attracting toxic people, or you have a habit of chasing toxic people, or over investing in toxic people and quote unquote hoping, right, that they return it and they reciprocate, now would be a great time to reflect on how you choose to do things that end up putting you in the hole. Right, Capricorn is the CEO type mentality of the zodiac. It's our shot calling, I'm the creator of my life sign, and Pluto is there. How do you put yourself in an energetic hole, draining yourself by doing things a certain way? If you got a habit of hoping, now would be a great time to throw hope out the window and just really stick to faith. Really stick to faith. Okay. If you don't know like you know, because they're already reciprocating or they're already investing in you back, don't keep doubling down, right? Don't let your pride get in the way. If something was great at one time and it ain't so great now, and you're like, how the frick did I get here? Well, now would be a good time to exit. Now would be a great time to really ask yourself, how did I get in this situation? Figure it out and exit. With retrograding planets in the sky, it's great for reflection. The unfortunate truth about retrogrades is if you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, you're being guided to do it, right? But if you don't actually know or understand why you're making these choices, you will repeat mistakes. There is a reason why you're not doing things the way you used to. And if you forget those reasons, because you came to the conclusion during a retrograde period, if you don't make it a point to remember the conclusion you came to, you will learn it again. You will learn it again. That same conclusion that you came to, you will learn it again. And it sucks the same amount. It sucks the same amount, if not worse, having to be reminded of that lesson twice over, right? But the universe makes sure it sticks. So, really, especially because the moon too, like at this exact minute, the moon is at 27 degrees Virgo, opposing Neptune. If you are not due diligence, paying attention to everything you feel, we cannot negate red flags. We cannot be fanatical or fantastical or in worship of someone that is not worthy. Worship of something that is not worthy. And when I say worship, I mean prioritizing it over yourself. That you would put something else on a pedestal above you. This person's more important than I am. No, because what did I say earlier, right? If you're not good to you, you're good to no one. You have to be good to you because then you're good for everyone. You have to learn how to take initiative and direct your life. And it's very difficult with a cardinal cross because cardinal signs are leaders. It's extremely challenging to take the lead of your life. But if you can do it, if you could say, no, I trust myself, I'm going to do what feels good, and trust is going to work out in the long run for everybody. They might not see it. They might complain about it. They might frickin' hate me for it. They might talk shit on me for it. They might not believe in a thing I'm doing. But if I trust myself and do what feels good, not what I'm obligated to unless it's the same thing, not what I'm expected to do unless it's the same thing, right? Unless you feel good doing it, it feels good. And I don't mean, it's going to cause you some temporary kind of, instant gratification happiness. Of course, it feels good to give somebody a need, but it doesn't feel good if it over pulls from your bank account and now you're short, because that feels like shit, right? You don't want to do things that are going to result in you feeling bad, which means it has to be in alignment. You got to be able to listen to your intuition, that Cancer moon, the Cancer sun. You have to be able to listen to that Cancer sun at 29 degrees. Sorry, it falls on my Cancer moon. I have a 29-degree Cancer moon. So that Cancer sun at 29 degrees, right, you have to be able to listen to it. Don't do things the way you did before. This looks familiar, right? Because Pluto in Capricorn at 29 degrees retrograding is going to be really tempting to go back into old toxic patterns. Things that put you in a hole. Doing things that put you in the hole. You really have to listen to your intuition through this and appreciate with gratitude, right? We're talking Leo energy, Venus. Really appreciate with gratitude that you've learned from the hard way and that you will not repeat it. Because Lilith conjunct Venus. Lilith. Direct. Conjunct Venus is a very high risk of self-abandonment. Very high risk. With the cardinal cross going on, the inability or the challenge of taking the lead and trusting the self in your life. And all of these positive aspects from those challenges on Lilith, right? Let's just put Venus aside in the equation for a second. All of these challenged aspects are positively touching Lilith. Let other people's needs guide you and abandon the self is the worst thing that you could do. Pluto at 29 degrees Capricorn. This is one of the last times that Pluto will be in Capricorn, because it's going to go direct again, and then I think when Pluto retrogrades next year, it's literally just going to kiss, and I mean kiss, into Capricorn and be back out in a relatively short period of time. This is one of the major final stands of Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto is the undertaker, the nail in the coffin. If you don't listen to your intuition, please don't say I didn't warn you. You're going to get pings. You're going to have that feeling in your chest. It's like, oh, refrain. Don't agree with it. Don't do it. Refrain. You're going to get that feeling. That Cancer sun is going to make sure you get that feeling. Don't do it. Refrain. Refrain, refrain, refrain. Don't invest whatever energy you're about to invest in. Refrain. You're going to get that sign. And if you ignore that sign, you just put the nails in the coffin. You really got to listen to your gut on this one. You can't do things the way you've been doing them, the way you've done before. You cannot ignore your intuition. People have a habit of doing it all the time. They will ignore their intuition all the time. Red flags, that's all right. We'll see how it goes. I'll give it a shot. No. Don't do that. Especially not now. Not with this Venus retrograde. Not the way it's kicking off like this. Because this kickoff energy, the minute that Venus goes retrograde, this is going to be the setting, the theme, the overall underlying current through this entire Venus retrograde period. You must continue to listen to your intuition. 99% is not 100. If it is not a fuck yeah, it is a fuck no, not now, not today. You have more questions that need answers before you get fuck yeah territory. Because fuck yeah territory is easy. think about it. When we think about food and we're making decisions on food, we're either in the mood for something or we're not. Someone says, let's go get Chinese. And you're like, I don't know. They're like, well, how about pizza? Oh, I don't know. I had it last week. And they're like, all right, well, how about this? And you're like, fuck yeah, let's do that. Great idea. It should be that easy. All the decisions in your life should be that easy. If it's not a fuck yeah, if it's a kinda, I don't know, whatever, then the answer is no. If you want to help somebody, you have the means to help somebody, because you could pay for Chinese food, you could pay for pizza, but it's not real. You're not really feeling it. You could be able to help somebody. You might be willing to help somebody. But if you're getting that feeling and you're like, and it's not a fuck yeah, absolutely, let's do it, let me help you out, then the answer is no. Then the answer is no. Please get used to that. Please get used to that. This Aries North Node, that is the way. Reflect on things. Be in that Venus energy. It is really tempting to dip into Lilith. Really tempting to make everybody else happy. Well, if you want Chinese, I'll get Chinese. But you don't really fucking feel like Chinese. But if you do, well, that's okay. We'll get Chinese. No! Let y'all both agree on something. And if you can agree to go to 2 different places and you can get what you want and they can get what they want, great. Then do that. Do that. This is the time of the individual's shine. Even if you're in partnership dynamics, both partners are going to have to shine as individuals. Conforming to someone else. Blending in with someone else. Camouflaging or disappearing for someone else. So that they can shine and you're getting dimmer. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. You're going to pick Venus or you're going to pick Lilith. You're going to reflect on how things were. You're going to be getting things back, reciprocating. You're going to realize that things you were investing in prior, you don't want to invest in anymore, or you're not going to invest in it the same way. Maybe you're going to renegotiate love language terms with someone. Maybe it used to be a certain way and now it can't stay the same way. You were investing love in them a certain way and they're like, hey, that's not working for me. And you're like, okay, how can I invest love in you then? What kind of love do you need to feel it right now? Because if I'm investing my love in you this way and you're not appreciating it, you're not feeling the love because you would prefer love this way instead, let me know, because I'll stop giving you love that way and start giving you love this way instead. Some people like having money spent on them. That's how they know they're loved. Some people like affection. That's how they know they're loved. Some people like to sit and talk and communicate and share about their day, and that's how they know they're loved. Some people like honesty and consideration. Hey, before I do this, I wanted to talk to you. And that's how they know they're loved, because their partner's considering them first. Everybody has different love languages. Some people speak multiple love languages. And if there's a communication breakdown in love language, tuning into Venus is a great time to say, hey, I really need love this way. Venus retrograde, this is a great time to talk to your partner and say, hey, I really need love this way. And if your partner's in alignment, it'll be a great conversation and they'll be really, really grateful, especially when Venus goes direct again. They'll be really grateful that that conversation was had, because it's going to propel you forward in this success of the individual, bringing harmony and balance to relationships, that we're not doing things the same way, the old way, right? Please do not forget that moon in Virgo opposed Neptune in Pisces. Every step is important. Virgo is meticulous, unapologetically perfectionist, due diligent, all the time. This Virgo moon, pay attention to how you're feeling. Don't fantasize something out of desire in your mind's eye and negate how you feel, because that's what's going to happen. If you have this ideal vision inside your head, well, you want this vision, you want this vision, you want this outcome, you want this result, and you think you can negate your feelings and manipulate your way around it, you'll be mistaken. Do not make people out to be something that they're not. Do not put people on pedestals. Do not forget that you are a soul having a human experience, and the goal is to have a truly beautiful experience. And the way to do that is to follow your feel-goods. If it's not a fuck yeah, it's a fuck no, not now, not today. I need more questions answered before I could be a fuck yeah with that. There's got to be more options on the table. If all 100 options on the table suck, well, then there's got to be an option we ain't thought of yet. Or there's an answer to a question that we haven't come to that is keeping one of those fuck no answers from being a fuck yeah. We need the answer so that we can switch it. Because sometimes we'd be fuck yeah if we had certain answers. But because we don't have certain answers, we're like, I don't know. Well, you need to ask the questions then. And if you don't like the answers, well, then the answer's clear. It's fuck no. This way you don't get hung up or stuck somewhere. It's a big deal. All this going on at the same time, we've got Uranus squaring Mercury. That's fun. We've got Uranus squaring Mercury. So, people may, because we're talking about Taurean energy in Uranus and Mercury in Leo. So people could be coming from a hurt ego place and saying things they probably shouldn't say. They might be rubbing it in other people's faces and reminding them just how much they do for them and calling other people ungrateful. People could be throwing people out because of, ungratitude or ungratefulness. They could be getting fired because they're not grateful. There could be all kinds of shit coming out because the negative or shadow aspects that come up with challenges. Leo is very prideful, boastful, egotistical, and it's shadow. Leo is ungrateful and it's shadow. They don't realize or see how they're taking the love language of other people for granted. Mercury is a communicator, so that could definitely be being communicated. And it might come out of nowhere. It might come out of nowhere because Uranus is radical, random, eccentric, out of the fucking blue, coming at you sideways in a shadow. It's electrifying. It's instant revelation. It's that someone said the wrong fucking thing and you're like, oh my God, I cannot be with this person in your presence anymore. Like, anymore. We are not the same. We are not the same. It's like realizing, like, all this time you spent with somebody, you thought they knew you, understood you, respected you, and then they say some shit that hits you sideways, and you're like, I can't spend any more portion of my life with you. Romantic partner, employer, family, friend, it doesn't matter. People could say things that instantly shut people off. And because Jupiter is within 10 degrees from Uranus, unfortunate mishaps in communication are ultimately going to be a blessing in disguise. Might not show up for a little while, but ultimately that manifestation will work out. Because if your instant fuck yeah, I gotta get the fuck out of here is the response, that's your fuck yeah, I never actually want to be in your presence again. I cannot believe this is who you are and you would actually have the balls to say that kind of shit to me. If like that reality hits you like lightning, because Uranus is like lightning epiphany. If someone says some off the wall shit and you have this lightning epiphany that you're out, that's your fuck yeah moment. Fuck yeah, everything in my being is making it super easy to cut you off. That's a fuck yeah. It would feel really good to absolutely never deal with you or that belief system or that mindset, that character, personality, behavior ever again. I would rather never see you again than hear that twice. That's a fuck yeah. That's standing up for the self. That's that Aries North node. Relationship dynamics out of balance, gotta go. So yeah. It's going to be really challenging to take the lead in your life, Cardinal Cross. But there's definitely some wild card shit going on that could force it. That could absolutely snap and force it. Especially because we also have this opposition between Mars in Virgo and Saturn in Pisces, right? These two different oppositions between Virgo and Pisces, that polarity. We've got the Moon-Neptune opposition and the Mars-Saturn opposition. Mars is our willpower. It's our drive, our determination, our energy bank, right? Our physical energy bank. And it wants to make sure our will and desire wants to make sure everything is done correctly. Everything is done correctly. And Saturn in Pisces goes, did you get the dirt out from under the rug? Mars in Virgo wants everything done pristine. It's got to be done perfect. Everything has to be perfect. And Saturn's like, did you get the dirt from under the rug? We're talking metaphorically here. Some of y'all might got dirt under your rug, literally. But we're talking spiritually speaking with Pisces. Pisces is the sign of the soul, the psyche, the subconscious and unconscious buried parts of the self, the parts that we're afraid to face. Because if you got fears in there, Mars in Virgo wants to bring it up and talk about it. Mars in Virgo is going to want to bring it up and talk about it. Mars in Virgo, with the moon in Virgo and these Piscean oppositions, could get real deep real quick. And it's in alignment if you do. If you let Mars and Moon Virgo get you real deep, that you face those inner child wounds and say, I really need this to feel safe and secure, because when you do this and when you do that, it doesn't give me those safe feelings. It doesn't feel good. I can't continue that. It's not a fuck yeah. That's a fuck no. It doesn't feel good. I can't continue forward in a situation with whoever you're dealing with that is triggering your inner child to feel unsafe. You're triggering trauma. I can't have that in my life. I don't deserve that. There is a reason why this trauma triggers for me, and I don't appreciate you triggering it. For example, I have a real problem being in a relationship with people that are drinking. I don't like being around drunk people. It's not fun for me. I'm straight edge. I don't like being in a group of people that's all drunk and I'm sober. That's not entertaining. It's not fun. I certainly don't like being in a relationship with an alcoholic. Absolutely not. I have trauma surrounding alcoholics. I don't like it. You can be who you want to be. That's fine. But you're not going to be in my life. I got no problem with you. I'll hang out with you sober. We could be sober all day together. But if that's what you want to go do, I'm sorry. I don't have any place in my life or time in my life for that. It triggers the shit out of me. It upsets me. It makes me feel unsafe and unstable in my life. I can't rely on alcoholics. They've hurt me every time, right? Not going to do it again. That Pluto in Capricorn. I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to trust alcoholics again. I'm not going to make excuses for alcoholics again, right? Whatever it is for you. We're getting real deep with our inner child and getting the dirt out from under the rug. We're not ignoring the fact that it's there. We're bringing it out and saying, this is the fucking dirt, and I'm not going to ignore it. I'm taking it out. I'm taking it out. Your inner child wounds don't exist if you acknowledge them and throw out what triggers them. If you take out all of the, like, let's just say I'm not around people who drink anymore, right? I got coworkers that I love. They go out and drink and they have drinks after work. That's not my thing. That's fine. I enjoy them while they're at work sober. And they're my best friends at work sober. I'm not dating anybody that drinks. I don't drink. So my inner child, that dirt, that I don't like being around alcoholics, I don't deal with that wound anymore because I've literally decided and chosen to not deal with it. I've said, no, this triggers me. I'm throwing it out. That was the dirt that I was burying and denying was there. I was like, nope, I know that dirt's there. And I'm not going to pretend it's not there. It's definitely there. And I'm going to take it out and I'm going to get rid of it. Alcoholic's gone. My inner child feels perfectly safe and content now. 100% more stable without alcoholics in my life than with them. So you guys will be deciding, what is it, that dirt under there that you really don't appreciate having to deny is there? You're going to have to pull out that dirt, say, this is the dirt. This is the dirt, and I'm getting rid of it. I'm getting rid of the people that make me deny the fact that that dirt's there. That shadow stain on the self. I'm not going to pretend that trigger doesn't exist. And get rid of it. You're not an asshole or a bitch. You're not a villain. You're not evil and mean. No, you're creating healthy boundaries for yourself and demanding that people respect them. Because you are respecting yourself. You are respecting your own inner child. You're respecting your own soul and what it needs to feel light, no regrets. Because when you get rid of all of the relationship dynamics that you have that are in misalignment with the South Node Libra, especially over the course of the next 18 months, with this nodal flip, you're going to realize how much more at peace you are and how much the relationships that truly benefit you, that you truly wish to benefit, thrive because you've gotten rid of that dirt. Because you got rid of the delusional fantasy of, well, maybe it can work even while I deny these things. It won't fucking work. It's going to keep hurting. I could deny the fact that alcoholism bothers me forever, and the suffering's only going to get worse. I can deny it because I love someone who's triggering the shit out of me and pretend that trigger's not there, but it's only going to make me suffer worse the more it continues. This energy is asking you, how free can you be? How happy are you going to allow yourself to be? How filled with joy? How safe are you going to let yourself feel? How glad are you going to be that you stood your ground for your own self to feel good, and that ripple continued, that you led the way and shown by example what is acceptable and not acceptable to the self, so that the people that you love can witness you shining. Listen to your intuition. You'll feel that pull from spirit say refrain. If it's not in alignment, something's off. Something's not right. Pull back. I know you don't know why, but your intuition is telling you to please refrain. Even if you can, even if you're willing, refrain. And you'll also get those feelings when you're not necessarily willing or you're not necessarily able inside your mind, but your intuition, that feeling in your chest is saying, yeah, just do it though. Trust me, just do it. I know that you don't understand how it's going to be okay, because you're worried about this or you're worried about that, but I'm telling you it's going to be fine. And there's something inside your chest that opens and it's like, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. It'll work out fine. And it will. Let your intuition show you the way. Do things differently. Get all the dirt out. Choose to feel good, because when you're good, everybody's good. Don't abandon yourself for the needs of other people and pretend your needs don't matter. Your wants and desires don't matter. Your goals don't matter. Let me just throw my goals out because their goals are more important. Like, no. That is not the best way with this retrograde. Reflect on where you invest, how you invest. Are you a part of the investment? Are you having people reciprocate to you for what you invest? And make the appropriate changes so that your soul feels real good. That you stood up for yourself and made really good choices. That's what this Venus retrograde is all about. And so with that, I have full faith that you have taken from this whatever you needed to take from this, and that it will serve you in the highest. I love you all and appreciate you all. Thank you to everybody who, drops a like and supports the channel in that way, and leaves comments and lets me know, how it ends up affecting your reality or what kind of epiphanies you've already gotten from it. And I will see y'all again in divine time, I'm sure. Take care of yourselves.